What's going on, everybody? It's WebsterStyle, Brian Sapph from the NRW Checkpoint here with another NRW React. And Brian,
yes,
do you like Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man?
Yes. They've been doing a solid job with the villain stories that they're trying to build.
Well,
at least
Venom
Sony.
is different. Venom has
no, not Venom. Just the villains in general, because you know the Sony MCU, they trying to build out, or the Sony Spider-Verse, they're trying to build out the villains over there.
They've been failing miserably at that. Craven got pushed back a whole year. Come on now.
Yeah.
So, but we are in the Sony Spider-Verse,
right?
And we are here about to watch a trailer of a movie, which why? But let's check it out and see. We're looking at the trailer for Madam Web.
Let's do it.
What do you want from me? Why do you care for me? Why do you know?
Hey, come on. Get your stuff. Let's go.
Let's try that again.
A week ago, I spent my life racing against time,
I'm gonna help you out today, okay?
trying to save people who were running out of it. Until one moment changed everything.
Come on! Welcome back to the land that we're living.
I don't understand what's happening.
I've been having visions.
I knew he was gonna die.
I think I'm seeing the future.
New York City is a whole new level of crazy these days.
What do you want from me? What do you
New York City is a whole new level of crazy these days.
This is an emergency. Get off the train.
That man's trying to kill you.
What?
Who are you? What is going on? I can see the future.
Oh, what the hell?
She didn't see that coming?
That's not how it works.
I've seen that man before.
So who is he?
Ezekiel Sims. He was in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders right before she died.
Wait, I recognize you. You live in my building.
You're the paramedic.
Yeah, you almost ran me over. You don't think this is weird? How we're all connected?
It's honestly like the least weird thing that's happened all day.
What do you want from me?
I have no idea what those girls are called.
Why don't you want from me?
I think he can see into the future.
What are you wondering?
He's trying to change what happens. Julia, get down!
Why aren't you scared of me? Why do you care for me?
Your future was almost so different.
Where do we go?
If you want to live, you have to trust me.
Get ready. Now!
You're showing off.
Maybe a little.
Hey.
What are your thoughts, Brian? I'll bite my tongue for the moment.
I'm actually interested in seeing this. I'm okay. So I'll start by saying this, right? Spider-Man is one of like my favorite Marvel characters, just like across the board. So I invested a lot of time in his lore and trying to, understanding the character and everything like that. Madam Web is because you read comics before.
Yeah.
Read the comics, you watch the shows, you watch the movies, you understand that the Spider-Verse is so like deep in lore, like there's so much to it that this like really makes sense for Sony to be like, okay, wow, Marvel is playing with Disney over there doing the big names. We're going to take the stories from each of these like pivotal Spider-Man characters and build them out and create a universe to where it makes sense why Spider-Man is doing the things that he's doing. Because Spider-Man can kill all of these people. He's strong enough to, he's smart enough to, but he doesn't. So I feel like Madam Web is going to be an intricate part in kind of like fleshing that out so people like understand what exactly they're trying to do. Because we saw what happened with what's the name of the where Morbius, you know, didn't do too great.
Right.
And, you know, we have the other symbiote starting to take form and everything like that. We got the crossover with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. We got the crossovers and stuff like that. They're talking about Miles Morales is getting a live action adaptation or whatever. I think Madam Web is going to be the centerpiece, just like she is in the Spider-Man comic books. I mean, obviously Peter Parker and Spider-Man are the centerpiece, but Madam Web has a place in the overall Spider-Verse that is going to be very, very important to making sure the rest of the Spider-Man movies and all of the characters surrounding that like flow correctly. So I'm interested from that standpoint. And then on top of that, like I want to see just how far they go with Madam Web, given that they alluded to her in the Spider-Verse movies, but she's never hit the screen. And on top of that, the way that, at least from what I understand about her abilities, she can make things happen, like all of the Miles Moraleses meeting up in one place, or all of the Spider-Man, you know, like that whole scene that we saw in Across the Spider-Verse, where, you know, all the Spider-Man, like that's a Madam Web like thing. Like she's the god for all of that stuff. So I don't know. I'm interested to see this movie just to see how it connects the rest of the pieces of the Sony Spider-Verse, I should say. But speaking about Madam Web directly, there's a lot left to be seen. Like she's not like a super popular character, even though she is so important to the progression of the Spider-Man storyline. So I'm interested from that standpoint. As a fan of the Spider Universe, the Spider-Verse and everything like that, I'm just interested to see what happens. Because if this movie, if it does what I think it's going to do as far as story and driving the plot for what's next with the Sony Spider-Verse, this could be like it could be a game changer, because there's a lot of potential here. She's literally like the Umatu of What If. Like she could literally step back and be like, okay, I see all of these different Spider-Man across the different universes or whatever. I need them to come together and do this. Let's make a movie about it, or a TV show, whatever Sony pulls out of their hat. But I'm just interested because she has such a unique like place in the thing as like being almost like not the Spider God, but like, you know, just very, very much I could step back, see everything from a distance, make things happen. Something like how Loki ended with the whole Kang thing.
Don't say anything.
I don't know.
I haven't watched it. Don't say anything.
No, well, no, I'm talking about the first season. You haven't seen the first season?
Yes, I saw the first season. Okay.
Yeah, with the whole timelines and everything. Like she steps back that far and can play with all of that stuff. The whole what did they call it in Across the Spider-Verse? Some kind of web. I forgot the name that they gave it or whatever. But that whole web of connection and all or whatever. Yeah. That's literally
I agree. You know, I have a lot of issues with this.
Okay.
But my biggest issue is with Sony.
Okay.
Sony doesn't advertise any of this as being part of the Spider-Verse. That's the biggest issue. So that's if somebody who doesn't know, get this in my head,
that makes sense to me.
I would have like some animation done from Into the Spider-Verse. Mm-hmm. And or like whatever the central hub with Miguel O'Hara, and it'd be like Earth, whatever, and the portal opens up, and then you go into this trailer.
Right.
You know, to tell people, hey, this is Spider-Man adjacent. So you know what's going, because they got Ezekiel looking like a bootleg Spider-Man in this, man. Like, for real.
Right.
And that's, if this wasn't Spider-Man related, this would be very interesting to me.
Oh, okay.
But the fact it is, for me, is, first of all, why is Dakota Johnson Madam Web? Like, Madam was the old white lady, gray hair sitting there.
That's my only, because I'm like, the Madam Web I know, she don't even get up. She sees she float everywhere in this fucking chair. Like, what's going on?
Right. Even that, and I've seen supposed premises for this movie, and I'm not really, it could work and then it couldn't. The fact that they don't advertise this, like, same thing with Craven. Like, you don't advertise this as being in the Spider-Verse.
Right.
Like, laymen don't like, you're trying your best, more of the same thing. You're trying your best to try to make something new, but these new things are very much dependent on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So they fail because there's no connection to Spider-Man. Venom is the rare exception where Venom, especially in the comics, and then throughout, Venom is carved an identity of its own as a character.
Yeah.
And you see that even in Spider-Man 2, the new video game. Like Venom, and they did a good job there, but Venom is still something that, hey, if you do it right, you don't necessarily need Spider-Man. And they did that. Craven, I don't know. Madam Web, it's Spider-Man.
Right.
You see it in there. You see it in based on, and I'm not going to say what I've read about possible storylines of it, but it's very much connected to Spider-Man, but they're not saying it. But this is probably, outside of the marketing, my biggest issue with this.
Okay.
My biggest issue and the biggest reason I have any kind of excitement for it, Ezekiel.
Okay.
I was knee deep in Spider-Man when he introduced that character and storyline. I feel like it was, I think J. Michael Straczynski was writing, and I know John Romita Jr. was writing at the time. Phenomenal. It was, I think at that time, and obviously we've gotten like sensational, or what is, I forget the Dr. Ock Spider-Man, but that was by Don Slott. That was like an amazing run. But that book, when Ezekiel came out, that was probably one of the biggest shakeups in Spider-Man lore, like in the past 20 years, like since the symbiote was introduced. And to see that character wasted in this movie pisses me off.
Well, we don't know. And
he's not an antagonist for Spider-Man. So he's wasted, in my opinion. That's what I mean by wasted. He's not an antagonist for Spider-Man. Like, this would have been an excellent, say, Spider-Man 5 with what's his name?
Andrew?
Yeah. No. What's the new guy?
Tom Holland?
Yeah, Tom. Yeah. Like, so this would be a Spider-Man 5, because I figure Spider-Man 3, maybe we'll get some Green Goblin. Spider-Man 5, Tom's a bit older, because I like that adult Peter Parker. I feel like I like adult Peter Parker more than teenage Peter Parker.
Yeah, and high school Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Get on my nerves.
and I say only because, and I think that's one of the things that even with the new Spider-Man game, that, when we look at it, he looks younger. He looks younger than he did in Spider-Man 1. And I like that mature Peter Parker. I like the adult Peter Parker. I felt like even as a kid, those stories were more relatable and understandable than the teenage. And like, I started reading Spider-Man in middle school, and Spider-Man was an adult with Mary Jane. And it's not like, I related to those stories more so than reading his teenage stories back in the 60s and 70s in many respects. So I say all to say, I like that storyline when they introduced Ezekiel, and to see the character in that lore, especially when Madam Web talks about, he was with my mom researching spiders in the Amazon before she got killed. So that brings in the Spider God and all that other stuff. And I was like, this would be an awesome Spider-Man story, but we're wasting it on Madam Web. And especially if they doing the whole story that they just make it part of the Spider-Verse. advertised as part of Spider-Verse, I can digest it that way. But them trying to sell it as a standalone movie, it just doesn't work for me without the Spider-Man part, because it's you see the movie, it's Spider-Man. They're just not saying it. It's Spider-Man adjacent. It's Spider-Man related. Look at the girls' costumes. They're different Spider-Women. Just say so.
Yeah.
Make it part of the Spider-Verse. Call it a day.
I think what the issue is, or why they haven't done that, is simply because Marvel is doing what they're doing with Disney. I feel because in order for what you're saying to work, they would literally have to say like, oh, take a look inside the next piece of the Spider-Verse or whatever, or they would have to literally do a crossover event, like have an Avengers style movie. But it's like they already told us Andrew is not gonna be Spider-Man anymore. Like his Spider-Man is done, or they haven't said that, but it's like,
yeah, I don't believe none of that.
Yeah, that's it. They haven't said that, but Andrew's not. He hasn't spoken and hasn't denied either. So erase that. What I'm saying is, we haven't, after all of this time, we still haven't had our Avengers type movie of the Sony Spider-Verse. And because, well, I guess.
Well, we kind of did. No Way Home.
That was about to say.
Yeah. I don't.
But even still, they didn't.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't think they have to do that, though. I think that one of the beautiful things about Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse, they've set up their own Spider-Verse where anything can happen, and they can have movies telling the stories they want to with different characters, but just let you know they're all related to Spider-Man. But they're not advertising that they're related to Spider-Man. You have to know they're related to Spider-Man. Just like even though it's not going to happen, the movie that was supposed to be done with Bad Bunny, like El Muerte or whatever.
Yeah.
I never heard of him. Nobody ever heard of him.
This character,
but
right?
You slap on the like, get a Spider-Verse logo.
I would
slap that on all your movies, like the Marvel. So people know
way Marvel's
right
does that. Marvel Spider-Man, Marvel's Avengers. It need to be like Sony Spider-Verse, Madam Web. Sony Spider-Verse presents blah blah blah. I don't know.
Look,
I definitely understand what you're saying. I agree.
I go back to like Morbius.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a lot of people know who Morbius is especially from the cartoon series from the 90s. Okay,
right.
But not enough people know who Morbius is to want to see a Morbius movie, even if it was good.
Right.
Same thing here. A lot of people know who Madam Web is from watching the cartoon back in the day and even reading the comics. But not enough people know who Madam Web is to want to see a movie about not enough people care about Madam Web to see a movie about Madam Web.
Yeah.
It's just
I'm literally excited for the Madam Web movie because of all the possibilities the character can open for the Sony Spider-Verse. I don't necessarily care about the Madam Web character. I mean, I guess it would be interesting to understand how she comes to be within the Sony Spider-Verse, but ultimately I'm looking at you like a gateway. Like, take me on the next journey. Like, be the the center point for whatever's about to happen next. But they're not doing a good job of labeling.
Yeah, I say this, Brian, and maybe it's something to do with their contract with Marvel. I don't know. I don't know.
We could assume that, yeah.
However, Sony needs to realize the power of their Spider-Verse because that's something really they clearly haven't done. And I don't know if this movie, like I say, if this wasn't Spider-Man related, this might actually look cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is in the back of your mind is like, how is this connected to Spider-Man? Where's Spider-Man? Like Spider-Man is like the elephant in the room in this whole trailer as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And you're not going to see him per se, based on, again, I'm not spoiling anything because I don't know if this plot synopsis is true or not.
Right.
But it's related to Spider-Man, but you don't see Spider-Man. You don't talk about Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't exist in this world in a way, which makes us even more confusing. if whatever was true, I'll put it like, if whatever was true, he exists, but he doesn't. I'll tell you after we stop recording. But yeah, so that's our long take on Madam Web coming to theaters.
We just want best. What's best for Spider-Man?
Yeah, we do. We want the best. Make sure you let us what you know of Madam Web in the trailer. You know, were we off base? Were we dead on? Let us know. Drop us a line on Instagram at New Release Wednesday, on Twitter at the NRW, and of course, you're currently on YouTube. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and drop those comments.